Good evening, brethren. Welcome to our Women's Ministries program. Today we are on lesson 7, and it says the best you can be is being a loving woman. We are going to talk about being a loving woman, and our leading verse today is coming from Matthew chapter 5, verse 15 to 16. I'm going to read here. It says, verse 15, it says, "Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but not a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven." That's our leading verse of our lesson today. There are many stories told of people who came to Jesus because of his kindness and love that was shown into them in times of need. For example, strangers to a new country, they need love. Sick neighbors, they need love. Struggling families also need love. Widows, they also need. Even young people and children, they need a loving and attentive people in their lives. There are many categories of lonely and sad people who need loving relationships, and you might be the person who can show them the love. So today I'm going to illustrate how loving, kind, and compassionate people draw others to Jesus Christ. Truly caring for others is the best and easiest way to win people for Christ and the heavenly kingdom. I'm going to share a short story with you tonight. A young woman who had arrived in a new country, she was lonely and afraid, but she found a job working for a Christian family. They loved her, they provided for her, and they demonstrated God's love. They also gave her a Bible, and also it was in her own language, and she started to read the Bible. At the end, she said, "The story of Jesus is so beautiful," and because of this, the family's love and all the reception that she was receiving, she also became a Christian. Our lesson today says it all. It says the best that we can be as women is to be a loving woman. As an individual, are you a loving woman? We read a verse above, which was from Matthew chapter 5 verse 15, which was saying, "Men do not light a lamp, put it under a basket. They put it on a table, so it gives light to all in the house. Let your light shine in front of men, then they will see the good things you do and will honor your Father who is in heaven." It can be our goal to be the woman who is so compassionate and loving that others will be drawn to Jesus Christ. But how can I communicate that love? And today, that's our discussion. That is where we are going to understand how we can communicate that love to everyone around us. We are going to start by reading a verse, maybe a story from John chapter 8, verse 1 to 11. I'm going to read here. Verse 1, "Jesus went unto the Mount of Olives. Early in the morning he came again into the temple, and all the people came unto him, and sat down and taught them. The scribes and Pharisees brought unto him a woman taken in adultery. When they had set her in the midst, they said unto him, Master, this woman was taken in adultery in the very act. Now Moses in the law commanded us that such should be stoned. But what sayest thou? This they said, tempting him that they might have to accuse him. But Jesus stooped down and with his fingers and wrote on the ground as though he had heard them not. So when they continued asking him, he lifted up himself and said unto them, He that is without sin among you, let him cast a stone at her. And again he stooped down and wrote on the ground. Considering this story of the woman who was taken into adultery, love was demonstrated in the way Jesus dealt with the issue. The Pharisees, they came with the woman, they were condemning her, they were scolding her, they were punishing, they were blaming and shaming her. But Jesus communicated love. He accepted and forgave her. He treated her with dignity and respect, and through that it gave her courage. So it shows us how love can easily lead people to Christ. We are going to talk about 3 ways love listens, and it usually refers to how real love shows up, or how real love is seen, how you see that this is real love when you are talking to someone, how that someone listens to you when you are telling your story. And it's not just about they are hearing you, but how they are listening to your story. That's what we are going to learn today, to see how we can be good listeners, so that real love can be seen in the way we communicate with others. In short, we are talking about love listens to feel you, and it's not about just listening, but to feel the compassion which is behind the story being told. A lot of people listen just but waiting for their turn to respond. But love actually tries to get your perspective even when it disagrees. Love is patient and is not defensive. Number 1, we are going to talk about the body language. Body language. Experts say that 90% of our communication is through body language. We often say one thing but mean another, and our body language shows it. A good listener faces the person who is speaking. She maintains an open posture with arms and legs crossed. She leans forward slightly and maintains eye contact at the level of the other person. Number 2 on how love listens is open questions. The way we direct our questions by using open questions. They say asking open questions will accomplish more than closed questions. When you're asking open questions, you're asking for reasons, opinions, how do you feel, what do you think, and it allows the other person to share their experiences and their thoughts while you are listening, unlike when you are using the closed questions, whereby you are just asking questions for facts and it merely require a yes or a no answer. By so doing, they stop people from talking because they're just answering yes, no, yes, no. So when we are talking to someone, try to use the open question, so that you get to listen and you get to understand deeply what the other person is trying to say. And moving on to the last one is reflective listening. When we are talking about reflecting listening, it's often the one who is speaking an idea and tries to express it, but it may not always come out right. So the reflective listener will check back to make sure she got the right message. She will reflect what the speaker may mean. For example, I hear you were saying this, and wait to see the response, how it comes. Remember, we said love listens, hearing not only the words, but the feeling behind the words spoken. Love, it takes time to check if the message received is the one that was supposed to be given. So that's what we are talking about today, the 3 ways love listens. We said number 1, the body language, our posture when you are talking to someone. Number 2, the way we ask our questions, are we using the open questions? And also number 3, reflective listening, trying to understand the emotions behind, trying to understand the message which is being portrayed, not only the words that are saying that we're saying. However, we also have roadblocks to effective listening, and I'm going to list them now. Number 1 is judging. If we read from Matthew chapter 7 verse 1, it says, judge not. This includes judging. It includes criticizing, blaming, shaming, labeling, name calling. Jesus said, judge not. And also number 2, you're sending solutions. And what we mean when we're saying we are sending solutions, it's like you are ordering, you are commanding, demanding, preaching, moralizing, and advising while this is someone is they are saying or they are communicating. Also number 3, avoid the other's consent. These are some of the roadblocks to effective listening. You try to avoid what someone is trying to put across, and for example you are diverting, distracting, arguing, reassuring, or definitely just changing the subject. Remember, in the beginning we talked about the best we can be as women is to be a loving woman. In summary, Jesus gave up his high position to come and be as we are. He became approachable and thus opened himself to attack. He made himself vulnerable, able to be hurt and rejected. Love, it strips away our pride and makes us approachable, willing to show our humanity. And that's a virtue that as women we should pray that God grants us. You know, it shows that love is vulnerable. Also, love encourages. Let us encourage one another. If we see in Hebrews chapter 10 on verse 25, it says, voicing our appreciation is the most effective way to encourage someone. It is simply doing what God did for his son at the Jordan River. If we read in Mark chapter 1 on verse 11, I'm not going to read that one. Think of a time when you encouraged, or when you were encouraged by someone in your family, in your church, or in the community, and how this has helped you. Think of a time when someone showed you true love, when you were in need, when you were broken. The acceptance, the compassion, the care, and the listener ear. And how did this affect you? How did you feel when you received that? The same as the way that you felt is the same way that the other people is going to feel. So it is our plea tonight that let us be loving women wherever we are, and let us be like Jesus. And let us not forget that love listens not only to the person's words, but rather to the meaning and the feeling behind the words. The good listener faces the speaker, keeps a straight posture and eye contact, and maintains eye contact, and also asks open questions rather than closed questions. Love overcomes the judging roadblocks. It overcomes sending solutions, and also love overcomes avoiding the other's concerns. Love is vulnerable. It makes us open, honest, and human. And lastly, love encourages by voicing appreciation. We thank God for the word. May we all have a peaceful night. Amen.